fans, it's Gregory, and I am, as always, super excited to see you for another Boy Meets Beauty video. So today, we're hopping off the skincare train, and we're hopping onto the makeup train, because I know we all love to talk about makeup, and the canvas is only as good as the skin underneath. So we're all pretty good at that at this point, and trust me, we'll get back to skincare. Don't worry, sorry, I gotta get situated here. So I wanted to give you 5 must-have tips for flawless makeup. Now, some of these you may know, some of these you may not, but these are kind of like my top 5 that I use. A, on myself, and B, on the rare occasion that I'm doing somebody else's makeup. You know, I used to do tons of makeup way back in the day. So, you know, now, like you guys know, it's mostly skincare, but I've got a gajillion tricks and tips and all that to share with you. So these are a couple that I think are just gonna really help you with your everyday flawless face. Ready? Okay, so let's move on. So number one, and this one kills me, is when you start to put on your foundation. A lot of people do like their moisturizer and then their primer, and then they kind of like let it all soak in and they like wait a couple of minutes. Don't do that! Let your moisturizer go on, and then if you want to put your primer, and do it in succession, because while your skin is slightly moist, right? So you got your moisturizer, bam, Dermaware. Maybe you got a primer, boo, Chanel. What I like to do is, while those are a little bit moist, is when I will actually go ahead and do foundation. The reason why I like to do that is because what happens is it kind of like melts into the skin, and it gets this like effortless glide and kind of like gels in with like the little bit of moisture that's on the skin and gives this really nice natural glow. So I know like common sense says to do like step 1, wait, step 2, wait, but try it this way, because I promise you, you will probably love the finish that it gives. Everything spreads really, really nicely. And it gives you this like amazing, amazing glow. I feel like it kind of like grabs the foundation better. And it doesn't pick up as like much texture of movement or application, depending on which tool you're using. Which brings me to the next tip, which is about your tools. A lot of us kind of get in the habit of using the same method of application for foundation and products. But I wanna let you know, you need to switch them up. So if you have like a foundation, a favorite foundation that you've always applied with, say, like a foundation brush, try applying it with your fingers or with a sponge. What this is gonna do is gonna kind of give you like a different look depending on the product itself. Some are gonna be a little bit heavier, some are gonna be a little bit more airbrushed. You know, so don't be afraid to play around with different tools and see. Honestly, one of my favorite tools are these, and you've got 10 of them and they're free. I was a little too excited about fingers there. So these are awesome tools, because what I love these for is when you go to blend and tap and blend, the heat from your fingers kind of melts the product again into the skin. So don't be afraid to use these guys. Just make sure that if you're doing around your eye area, use your pinky and your ring finger, and always make sure your hands are squeaky clean so you're not getting all grubby dirt all over them. But change up those tools. Like, I have products like, you know, my favorite, you guys know my L'Oreal BB. Like, if I want it really sheer, I'll buff it with my fingertips. If I wanted a little bit more coverage, I'll use a foundation brush. So make sure you're changing it up, and you might be surprised that you get kind of like a totally new look and finish from one of your fave foundations, right? The next one comes down to concealing. Now, a lot of times, let's say you've got like redness around the nose, or like a red zit, or like that darkness under the eyes, and you just pop on that concealer, right? You just keep on popping on that concealer, and it's like, why isn't this working? Like, it's giving you coverage, but that like redness or that darkness still shines through. Well, what you need to do before you conceal is neutralize the color. For instance, if you're trying to cover up red, get some green out first and dab some green concealer over that area of redness, whether it's a zit or around the nose, and work that into the skin, and then come back with your regular concealer and over it. What you're gonna get is a neutralizing of color and then coverage. So instead of having to have layer upon layer of really cakey concealer, you're just gonna get 2 products, and it's gonna look much more smooth and even and flawless. So green for redness, and then peach for anything like Peach will actually do a little bit of redness concealing as well. Green is a little bit better. Green, sometimes I find, is better on fairer skin, and peach on darker skin. But peach is also a gem for these guys in here. Bam, circles. Also, if you've never seen my instant eye brightening video, go check it out, because it's a good one. It's my everyday for bright and perky peepers. But anyway, that's why I like the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat, that I'm sure I talk about it all the time. Rachel's talked about it, every makeup artist. My Touche Éclat shade number 3 always has that like peachy tone, so it kind of does a little bit of neutralizing and concealing at once. But remember, neutralize, then cover. Next one, this is a fabulous tip. If you are going to an event and you want really long wear foundation, and let's say you really want that face to be like matte and poreless, powder is your BFF. So what I suggest you do is after you've done your face, you are going to take some loose powder. Yes, loose, has to be loose. So, bam, like this. This is totally gonna make a mess. I got a little in here, so I'm gonna use that. And what you're gonna do is do a dusting of that all over the face first, right? Sets the makeup. Very light dusting, we don't want it to look cakey. Then you're gonna come back with a sponge, like this, one of these guys, the little velour puffs. It's a puff, I guess, not a sponge. And you're going to blot and roll the powder onto the sponge, and then blot and roll it onto your skin. And what you're going to see as you do this is, like magic, pores will disappear. Bam, bye pores, bye Felicia. And this is an amazing tip. It's gonna give you a little bit more coverage, a super matte finish, and then what you can do after you've done your blot and roll and kind of pressing that into the skin is then really go lightly, just kind of buff it so it doesn't look too cakey. And that's really gonna set that makeup, keep it there all day long, and make you look like porcelana, right? Which we love for an event and for photography. Last one, speaking of, if all of a sudden your makeup looks a little bit too heavy, you've done it, like you can't really go backwards, you buffed it, what I want you to do, and this is gonna help in your wear too, is take like a hydrating spray. This is just a little rose water. A hydrating spray or a setting spray, and mist. Because what that mist is gonna do is set the makeup and then let it dry naturally, but it's also gonna kind of soften the application of makeup and give it kind of like a little bit of like, I've lived in this for like a little bit, not look so fresh and matte and overly powdery. So it is a gem. I do it all the time, like when I'm going out and I'm like really feeling it, and I got like, you know, it's like a Saturday night and the music's on and I'm like, oh, I look good. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh boy, you got a lot on. So I will mist. And within like, you know, 15 minutes between your skin's natural oils and the hydration, everything kind of like balances out, like it doesn't look so heavy. And it helps it to keep all day long, right? So these are kind of awesome, awesome little tips. So I hope you guys like these. Like I said, they are some of my faves. I will put some of the products down below that I've been holding up so you guys can check them out a little further. But share with us, what's your favorite flawless makeup look? I know there's more. Do you guys dig this? We can definitely cover more of this too. But I figured these were my top ones I wanted to share with you. So go be beautiful and have a flawless face. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Gregor'sLA on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. That was and Snapchat. That was cuter. Anyway, I'm getting super goofy, so I'm gonna go. I love you all and keep it beautiful.